Hello, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers Monday Night Live, where we will try to bring you all the latest Rangers news, hosted by myself and starring the original OG, the man himself, we say the founder, certainly the creator of Four Lads podcast. Kenny, how are you, mate? You well?
I'm very good, thanks, Stevie. Hope you and Davie are very well. Looking forward to this. They haven't ruined our weekend, so it should be a bonus.
Well, it should be. I'm delighted to also be joined by a very famous author and a man that knows a lot about Rangers Football Club, Davie Howard. Davie, how are you? You well?
I'm good, thanks very much. Yeah, as Kenny says, there wasn't a game at the weekend to spoil our mood, so we should be a bit more positive tonight, shouldn't we?
Oh, I don't know if my internet is playing up a wee bit. I'm not sure if anybody can actually hear me still.
I can hear you
very well there after all.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Right, okay. Well, we'll just carry on. But yeah, I'm not sure. People saying turn up my microphone. I've got my microphone on full blast. Oh, this isn't a very good start. We don't like technology here on Four Lads. We really don't. But before we start, let's thank our sponsors, CBD Oil Scotland. You can get 50% off their website by saying Four Lads with any order. Also Candid, our ice cream experts, LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad, Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon. You can also get 10% discount by using Four Lads on that, and also Denhay, the quintessential British bacon. Also, our new returning sponsors, Athol Industrial Solutions. Gentlemen, straight into it. There was obviously no game this weekend. Kenny, but the news today of Derek McInnes's appeal will be heard on the 31st next week. What do you make of that?
Well, the date doesn't surprise me. I thought it was going to be about the end of the month. It'll be interesting to see what happens and what Rangers do with this. Actually, do they go with a lawyer or two and fight their cause, fight their case? Because I think they probably will. Davie, I don't know what you think, but I felt that the initial ban is over the top. The same situation with the young boy Elliot Watt. His was over the top. I don't like the way you can't really question a decision. I don't like that at all. I feel that you should be allowed an element of free speech if you're not criticising an individual. And I don't think Derek was. And I think that's what really kind of hacked me off when they gave him the 4-game ban with the 1 suspended, isn't it? And you just look at it and you feel personally, you should fight that all the way, Rangers, for your manager. I know what happened with Hearts, but I feel that you should actually just go ahead and take that as far as you can. Do I think the SFA will listen? Probably not. I don't know what you feel. They seem to have got a little bit of a bee in their bonnet about criticism of referees. And yet here we are at the start of this season. We've seen numerous mistakes already that are embarrassing for them, and that for me is the issue. That when you look at it in an overall perspective, you've got to turn around and say, you know, it's just a little bit petty, it's a little bit childish, and that for me is something that personally I feel Rangers should fight.
For me, what Derek McInnes said was entirely about the decision. I think he called it disgusting, a disgusting decision.
He did.
I think it's what he's getting into trouble for. He hasn't, the way I'm reading of it is, he hasn't criticised the integrity of anyone. He hasn't spoke about anyone personally. But it's just an example for me that the SFA are just doubling down on that whole set of events. They've already got rid of the KMI panel because they disagreed a few times. So for me, it's becoming Willie Collins got his little empire and nobody's allowed to criticise it, and it's becoming to seem that way. If there's any justice, he will not get banned because unlike, for example, when John Brown said the league was corrupt, you could understand why something like that they would take offence to it, but to call a patently wrong decision disgusting, especially given the context of what it actually meant for the season and for his team at the time, I can't see it as being something they should get banned for at all.
Right, folks, this should be better. I've skipped on to the iPad, so I'm sorry about that. That wasn't great from the old computer to laptop. First, I've used it in ages, so sorry about that. That wasn't a great start, was it? I'm assuming that we've all discussed the Derek McInnes appeal date and that. Do you know what I wanted to discuss before we'd even started? I wanted to talk to you about Four Lads and what we were doing, because we've obviously been going live nearly every night. And I wanted to give you a bit of an update, because obviously Monday night will still be live 7 o'clock every week. Tuesday at 7 o'clock will now be David Haird's history show. We're hoping in weeks to come that'll go live as well. That'll just need to get up to speed a wee bit with it. Wednesday night, Kenny and I, 7 p.m. we'll be live as well. Thursday night's a bit of a free night with the European football and things. We'll do post-match, certainly on Thursday. Whether or not we'll have other Thursdays after that, we hope so. Friday night I'll be live. That time varies on when folks are finished and home from work. Saturday a free day, and the Sunday show is live on the Sunday night. So we're going to pretend we've just started the show and we didn't have all that technical stuff. Thank my sponsors, welcome the boys. But that's what I was going to start the show with. So to give you a kind of pattern going forward, that's what we're aiming to do. If there's breaking news, if there's signing news, and we're still hoping for at least another 3 signings, then there might be breaking news shows and things like that. But that's the schedule. I just started a new job last week, which I'm thoroughly enjoying, which giving me a bit of a tan. I'm out and about, so that's quite nice. So that's going to be our kind of schedule going forward. So I hope that gives people a kind of clarity and idea. You're still going to get 4 or 5 live shows every week. You're going to get the history show as well, and we hope to put in another couple of shows and things. We're always open to people approaching Four Lads. Contact us on fourlads@gmail.com, and we can try and see what we want to do about other shows and people coming on and things like that. We're always approachable. This is supposed to be a show for the fans, by fans. So with all that said and done, Kenny, we've discussed Derek McInnes. I never discussed it. I was away getting my technical stuff sorted out. Rangers fined 13,000 by UEFA for a late kick-off in Poland against Jagiellonian. Białystok, we'll call them that. I was there that night. I can't remember it being a late kick-off. I don't know, but the club have been blamed for that, and we've been fined 13,000. It's interesting because other clubs have done that last season and got a warning. Rangers got a £13,000 fine.
Yeah, good old UEFA, eh? It never fails it with Rangers. We get about 3-4 fines a year for this, that, or the next thing. That's about the funniest one yet. A late kickoff. I remember watching a game. I don't remember it being late. So if it's been late at all, I don't know if that's me. Is another referee's responsibility to blow the whistle at the right time? I mean, I don't really understand it, and I'm not trying to be like kind of an arse about it. I genuinely don't understand, because I don't know if it was first half or second half or Rangers out, slow out in the second half. I don't know. I don't remember, but it's just a license to print money, UEFA. It really is. It's laughable, actually. 13,000 quid for for what seems to be absolutely nothing. And as I say, we get them for just about anything and everything. And I don't know if it's maybe they think we've got a little bit of bad behaviour about us, and that's why they find us and they won't find certain others. But it just seems as if there's one rule for clubs that aren't in the big 5 leagues, and the other teams that are qualifying for Europe through those bigger leagues have got a license to do what they like. And I'm kind of bored of it, actually. Don't know how you feel, guys, but I'm getting a little bit fed up with this, because it's always 15 grand here, 25 grand there, 15 grand here again for absolutely nothing. And I have no idea, in truth, about it, because I don't even remember it being a late kick-off. So strange indeed. Yeah,
Davie, surely the ref taps on the away dressing room, taps on the home one, out they go, we're all ready and off they go. Like, I find it a bit bizarre.
You're not the only one. I think I'm right in saying it was the second half. I'm sure I read that it was we delayed the start of the second half or something. If I remember rightly, we went in after an absolutely awful first half, and Derek McInnes made 3 changes at half time. So I don't know whether his half time reorganisation of the team took an extra minute or something. But I like Kenny, I never noticed the second half starting particularly late. What I don't know is whether these fines are given to clubs from other countries and we just don't hear about them, because I can't believe that we're the only ones out of I mean, how many European games were held that midweek? There must have been dozens of them. But we're the only one that the second half started a little bit late, and we're the ones to blame for it. It just seems absolutely ridiculous. I'm kind of with Kenny in the fact that it seems to me as if UEFA look for a reason to fine Rangers after just about every away game in Europe, and most of the home ones as well. If it's not flares, if it's not banners, then it's going to be something else. They'll find some reason for doing it. This one's the weirdest one of them all. And if we were the only ones to get that punishment that week, then I don't believe for 1 minute ours was the only game that started a minute after it should have.
I can only think they're sitting at UEFA going, right, how are we going to get the Christmas kitty this year? It's all right. The old teddy bears are in. We'll get them fine, no problem at all. But let's look ahead to the week that's coming up. I've not been on the podcast since Jablonec last Thursday. I've seen all the comments. I've seen the comments of our post-match, Rob and I. I'll tell you, honestly, and people know that I give my opinion. I've watched the game back. A couple of things stood out. I didn't think we were as bad as what people make out, but I didn't think we were great. I thought we were fine. That's all I really thought. I thought we were fine. I thought we were okay. I thought in the first half we dallied a wee bit too much and overplayed at times. But when we actually got our foot on the ball and went forward, I thought we were by far the stronger side. I don't think they threatened us at all, apart from a chance in the very last minute, which they ballooned over. I don't think they are as good a side as they like to think they are. They've been saying a lot, Kenny. They've been saying that they're going to knock us out. They believed they should have got at least a draw. Rangers hit the post. They scored. Kasama missed that incredibly good chance after a lovely footballing move. With another couple of efforts, we could have racked up 3 or 4, but we don't quite have that killer instinct yet, or we haven't done in several years, whatever way you want to look at it. But I fully expect and believe that Rangers can go over on Thursday night and get a result. I would like to see us be a bit more aggressive in the final third, because I felt like when we'd done that, we looked better. And by aggressive, I don't mean like flying into Cammy Devlin type tackles. I mean being aggressive with the ball. So play it in between lines, try and take somebody on, try and attack with that kind of dimension towards the goal and things. Like at times when we'd done that, I thought we looked okay. So I feel like I've given this Rangers team a lot of heavy criticism because they deserved it for what was a shady and quite a poor start. I'm going to say that I can see little bits and pieces beginning to come together. I think the right back that's signed from Aston Villa, Nedeljkovic, will be terrific. I can see shoots of promise from midfield from Dragicevic. So I think he's going to be a star. And I can see little improvements. I think Macania has started really well. I think Penrice is excellent. I really like Pandua. With Nedeljkovic coming in at right back, I can see things beginning to progress. We'll have 2 attacking fullbacks. Midfield does need tinkering here and there. Yokota needs to get his fitness up. We need to sort the number 9 position. So it's not all singing and dancing, but I just don't think it's terrible. We're going to talk about individuals and things like that. Now, I'm not sitting here saying we were wonderful, Kenny. I wouldn't say that. I think we were fine. Okay, Davie, Kenny. That's where I think we are. So going into Thursday night, I'm definitely thinking and hoping that Rangers can progress and put this side out, because they've said a lot. They said they weren't overly impressed by Rangers and things like that. Surely they're going to have to come and have a go. If they come and have a go, I think we can get spaces, and I think we can go and try and
implement our game a wee bit. But I'm not worried about them on Thursday. I'm worried about Rangers and how Rangers go about it. I'm not worried about them. And I say that with all due respect to them. I've had a look at them. I think Rangers are a better side.
Yeah, they are a better side. I don't think there's much doubt in that. But we have to. The first half last Thursday, I thought we were very slow on the ball. There was too many touches. It took a little bit of hesitancy and indecision. And we kind of rectified that a fair bit in the second half. We were quicker moving the ball about. On another night, we won it by 2 or 3 actually, I think, and I wasn't particularly impressed with them at all. I thought they had a couple of players that could carry the ball a bit, and that was it for me. Now they're probably better at home, so we'll have a harder game. I get that, but yeah, they've been a little bit mouthy since last Thursday. I have noticed that, and really quite not I wouldn't say disrespectful, because I don't think they have been, but they've been a little bit dismissive of Rangers, I think, where I think they must fancy their chances big time on Thursday, which is fine, but let's go and do it. I just feel that, as I say, for want of a better way of putting it, Stevie, we have to. I thought the two centre halves had too many touches of the ball. I thought the big Manny Fernandez got his booking badly in the first 10, 11 minutes. But I actually thought that helped the boy over the piece. I thought he'd get better and better, probably because he couldn't muck about too much and, really kind of be that nonchalant way that he is. And I think it's just his natural game. But I think he had to do the simple thing and do it quickly, because if he mistimes anything, he was going to go off the pitch. And I think it kind of, just refocused the boy a little bit. So a message to Big Manny is just play as if you're on a booking from the start every single week, mate, and you'll be fine. If Macania does look good. The issue I've got, Stevie, in general at this moment in time is I don't think we're creating quite enough chances yet. And even when we are, we're not taking them too well. But it'll come. We're a new team. We've got a lot of new signings. They're going to have to gel. And that's where I am with it. And Thursday, I actually expect it to be a little bit more like and I'm not saying about the same, but a little bit similar to the St Mirren game last weekend, where they will come out a little bit more and play football. And I think any team that's going to do that is kind of playing into our hands a little bit. I think we've got players that can take advantage of the spaces, but we just need to be on it. And I think if we are, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll get through to the group stages.
Yeah, this comment here I find interesting. Fernandez got better. I completely disagree. He was awful all game. His head isn't in it. The new centre back showing him up full time. I completely disagree with this. Statistically, the stats of Manny Fernandez, which I'll bring up, Fernandez has one of his best games statistically on Thursday night. He had a bit of a ropey start. I don't think the crowd helps him. You could see the players trying to watch and get behind him and stuff as well. He's clearly a boy playing with very little confidence. And again, I thought he came onto a game really well last week. And statistically, that is correct by how it looked. I thought the halftime boos were incredibly harsh. But I think that's overall a feeling of how we are instead of it maybe being on that game. By the way, I'm not saying that we were wonderful. Let's not get it all bent out of shape, and I'm not defending them. People are right to think what they think, and I don't mind that entirely. Like, I'm all for that, and Talesy's right. Stats and eyes are different. Of course it is. Of course it is. But Davie, where do you sit on Thursday and the booing and stuff like that, and Manny's performance and things like that? I'm going to go away and get these stats, and we can have a look at it, because, as I said, stats and eyes do tell you different things, and I'm all for different opinions. I don't mind people saying that they didn't think we played well and all that. I'm all for that, and I don't think we were wonderful. I think we're okay-ish. So where are you, Davie, with that?
Yeah, well, as you know, I sat beside you in the gantry last Thursday. Where I stood in the first half was I thought that we were far too pedestrian, we were too predictable. I didn't think we took enough risks. I think that their big forward gave Fernandez a bit of a hard time in the first half an hour. I thought he was a bit of a handful for a little while. The booing was a bit harsh in terms of I don't think the opposition really looked at scoring, but I do think some in the crowd have kind of made their mind up about Fernandes a little bit in recent times, because I think a lot of people think he looks as if he's not that bothered, or he's a bit too lackadaisical. Then I think people have started to get on his back. I thought that first half he struggled a little bit, especially with the big centre forward that was against him. But as the game went on, I thought he got a lot better. And I actually thought in the last 20 minutes when we were down to 10 men, the two centre halves played really well. I thought when we needed them to stand up against a little bit of pressure, and I actually thought the two of them played quite well. In terms of the overall game, the better team won. We were certainly the better team on the night. I don't think there's anything we should be fearing about going over there on Thursday night. I don't think they're a particularly good European team. A conference level team, as I tend to call a lot of teams in Europe. But I also think that we need to score on Thursday night, because I don't think I trust this team yet to have too many clean sheets. I think we need a goal, and I think it would be nice to see the two wingers getting more involved than they were in the first half in Thursday night. I thought that one of the keys to the second half was we get down the flanks a lot better. Penrice has made a big difference in the left. I think he's looked really good, and I think Romans has got a job in his hands to get the left back position back off him. Actually, I'm hoping that the new right back's going to be the same kind of player. We were at his press conference after the game, and he talked about his style of play. He compared it to Tavernier, actually, in terms of he likes to get forward, he likes to get assists and things like that. So that would be good if we had that on the other side as well. As I say, the better team, I thought the first 20-25 minutes of the second half, we were by far better than any other time in the game. The tempo of the game was better. We were starting to get in behind them. We were creating chances, and the sending off just kind of ruined it. It just took all the momentum we had away. That moment of madness, I think, was the difference between a 1-0 and a 2 or 3-0, actually. So overall, it wasn't great. It wasn't against a particularly good team, but a win, a clean sheet, and there's nothing to fear over there. And I'll be very disappointed if we don't go through.
Same. I do think the Manny Fernandes stuff is interesting. 16 defensive contributions, the most in the game. 13 clearances, most in the game. 4 tackles and 1 critical last man tackle. 5 out of 8 duels won. He also had 5 progressive runs with the ball into the final third. He's still a young guy, and I find it hilarious, right, how people pan him and then say when Leverkusen come in for 25 million, yeah, we should get that and we should take it. Like, come on, there needs to be a wee bit. Manny Fernandes is a young guy. I think at times his attitude is awful looking, right? And as a fan, it frustrates the life out of me, because it's like, going to wake up, big man, going to get out of reverse gear. And I think that doesn't do him any favours, because we all, and history tells you, Davie, you'll know this more than anybody, Rangers fans love somebody that runs about 100 miles an hour and doesn't stop and everything else, hence why they instantly like guys like, and Philip Sebo became like this cult figure because he ran about and everything else up front. And Davie, you laugh, and Kenny will laugh as well, but it was true. He was an absolute cult figure, and the big man was pretty hopeless, but he ran about a lot and we all loved it. And traditionally, in me growing up, we used to love our Stuart McCalls, Ian Fergusons and everything, because they were 100 miles an hour, and they deserved that accolade because they were brilliant players. But I think that when you get a player that's almost in reverse, and Asgard's a bit like it as well, Asgard's actually like Manny Fernandes at centre-half. So the issue is, when you watch him at the moment, he kind of looks like he's only a half yard away from giving you a clanger of a moment. So I can understand why people are on at him, but I also think that people need to look at it beyond Manny Fernandes as the one to blame at this very moment in time. Let's actually look at what he's doing. That brings us also on to Jablanek on Thursday, and then we've got Aberdeen on Sunday, which is a massive game. We'll look more into it later in the week, but these are pivotal for Derek McInnes, lads, because he's managed 2 wins, slightly turned the corner. 2 wins in this game, progression in Europe, 3 points on the board on Sunday for a league is an absolute must. but it can also really help Derek McInnes settle down also.
Yeah, this is at that point already where he has to get through this tie. We need European football, so he's got to get that result, a positive result. I don't care how we do it. We need a positive result. Sunday at Pittodrie, we know what we're going to get. We know how difficult it's going to be. However, again, they're not pulling up any trees. Rangers should have no, major concern about going up to Pittodrie against a pretty average Aberdeen side. We know they're going to give us everything. They're not going to. They're going to treat it like their cup final. We understand that. However, Rangers players should be every single one of them should be fully aware when they go to Pittodrie what you're going to face. These are key games for our new manager. They really are, because heaven forbid the worst case scenario he was to lose both of them, and he's in big bother with the eyes and in the eyes of the support. Maybe unfairly, who knows? I don't think it would be particularly unfair if you've won your first 8 games for people to be asking questions of you, particularly when there's been money spent and stuff like such. But I don't want to think worst case scenario. I want to think best case scenario. And you're absolutely right. Then if you get the win and you're in the Conference League and you can take the fact that you've got 3 wins in a row under your belt, go up to Pittodrie, get the win up there, and all of a sudden your league campaign's beginning to start in earnest. And that's all you can do, Stevie, as a Rangers manager or a Rangers player. Just win your games. The pressure will come off you the more games you win. Unfortunately, having not won any of the first 4, and as you say, the Jablonec first half wasn't great, and you're hearing the boos and stuff like that. That's just the nature of the beast at the minute. We have had, and Derek McInnes knows it. He's admitted himself. This is down to 15 years of frustration and failure and disappointment that every Rangers team carries year on year. It doesn't matter the players in the team. Rangers are going to carry that burden of the weight of expectation and the support. And all we're asking is that you get it right. I don't think it's that difficult as a Rangers fan, or that unfair as a Rangers fan, I should say, to actually expect that going to a team that finished 5th in Czechia and an Aberdeen team that were in the bottom 6 last year. I'm expecting 2 wins there. Absolutely. We've spent enough money. We're mucking about our squad a little bit. I'm expecting 2 wins.
The funny thing about it is that life at Rangers, Davie, as you well know it, if we don't get 2 wins, the pressure on McInnes is very, very big. You get 2 wins and all of a sudden we're flying in Monday night show this time next week, and the 3 of us will be grinning like the 3 happy baldy men that we are. But it'd be nice if we could show it. It'd be nice if Rangers could give us something. There was a comment there about, just winning when we do, people still criticise. Yeah, that's life at Rangers. I remember people saying to me in the pre-season, don't care about Europe. Don't care about Europe. Just concentrate in the league this year. And all people have done since we went in Europe is complain. We drew with West Ham 0-0 and people wanted McInnes out the door. This is Rangers. There is no patience for anything, Davie. But it's all right saying, just win, etc. It's a pretty big week for Derek McInnes.
It is. I'll start with the Thursday game. So I have heard some people say that it might be better for us in the long run to go out of Europe and concentrate just in the league and have less games to play. But that's incredibly short-sighted. Not just from a financial sense, a prestige sense, but do we really want a season starting at the start of July going forward when our coefficient goes through the floor? Do we want to be playing 4 qualifying rounds again before you can even think about group football and be unseeded? And it'd just be we've got to keep progressing in Europe. We've got to keep winning European games, and we've only won 4 of our last 20 European ties, and our coefficient's going through the floor at the moment. So for me, it's absolutely vital we get through on Thursday. It's totally non-negotiable for me. I don't want to even think about having no European football from the end of August onwards. I don't even want to think about that. And like Kenny, I expect Rangers to go through on Thursday night. Despite the fact that we've been pretty unimpressive, we're still a team that's very much in transition. We've got a lot of players trying to bed in. We've got a manager who's still not sure of his best formation, not sure of the guys he can trust. I know we've got all that, but we're still playing against a team, as Kenny said, was 5th in Czechia, who have got an ambition to play in the Conference League. If you think about it, that's their ambition, to actually get into the Conference League. Whereas we see it as very much a consolation prize, don't we? So Thursday night will be a huge disappointment if we don't win, in terms of prestige, in terms of confidence, in terms of finances, in terms of everything. As for Sunday, I suppose Aberdeen have started the season pretty well at home. They beat Hearts, they beat Dundee in the League Cup. I think they'll probably fancy it a little bit, especially going by how we've played. But I think it's all about what's between the ears of the Rangers players next Sunday. They're going to go to there, they're going to get all kinds of abuse, they're going to get booed every time they touch the ball, and I'm talking about the home supporters, not for our supporters. They're going to have to deal with guys raising their game and playing at 90 miles an hour against them. But so what? We've got that's what our league is. We've still got better players than them. We've got a manager who understands the league, even though it's not started particularly well. These are the games we've got to win. And what I will say is that we will go into that game on Sunday without doubt 8 points behind Celtic, because they play on Saturday at home to Falkirk, and they will without doubt win that game and probably win it quite comfortably. We are going to be under pressure in terms of league position, even if it's only our 3rd game of the season. It doesn't bear thinking about not winning it. But as long as we've got the attitude right, we've got the formation right, we've got the tactics right, there's no reason why we can't beat Aberdeen. No reason whatsoever. But I don't look forward to this pod next Monday night if we haven't won that game Sunday. Let's put it that way.
Cheers for that, Davie. That's nice and positive about the 8 points behind thing. I'm going to sleep like an absolute dream tonight because of that. Thanks, pal. Before we talk about transfers and stuff, I wanted to talk a wee bit about our squad. There's been a lot of chatter about certain players and stuff, and one of the names that keeps popping up is Connor Barron. Connor Barron versus Cammy Devlin debate. I find it quite interesting because on this pod last year and everything else, people couldn't wait to tell us that Connor Barron wasn't good enough, was a squad player. He had a bit of a purple patch. And now that Connor Barron's not playing, potentially going to be shown the door, there's interest in him, rumours that we could get anywhere between 6 and 8 million, which I would have absolutely grabbed at any point for Connor Barron, which I think is a cracking deal for him. I find it amazing now that people are suddenly saying we shouldn't be selling him, and and we're acting like Connor Barron is a world beater when Connor Barron and Cammy Devlin are squad players and should be squad players. Is there a doubt that Barron's better than Devlin? It all depends on what you think or what the manager thinks, right? But I find the reaction, Kenny, to this Barron stuff incredible, in a sense that how many times did we get told last year when we wanted Barron in the team and stuff like that Barron wasn't good enough, that Barron was this, that Barron was that? Now that we're potentially getting in that money and there's interest in him and everything else and he's not playing, people are going off their heads on social media and stuff like that. So, what do you make of this whole situation?
Well, I'd ask the question of anyway, is Connor Barron a good player? He's a decent player. Has he done the business at Rangers over the piece? No, he hasn't. He's not managed to sustain a first team regular place at all. He's a squad player at best. Do we require a better player? Yes. Is Cammy Devlin a better player? Maybe, maybe not. Time will tell. I don't necessarily think so. However, whether people that like Connor Barron or not kind of like it or not, Cammy Devlin's been brought in and he's going to be a squad player, which is effectively making Conor Barron, in terms of the midfield, he's now down at what, seventh, eighth choice. I mean, it is that simple. So it makes perfect sense to get as much money as you can at this time in his career, because he doesn't really have a future here. Because, as I say, I don't know, is it 2 or 3 seasons he's been here? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Davie will know, but is it 2? But the point being that...
No, it was 3 fingers, isn't it? All 3.
Well, but there's a big wee Scots things right over the top of you, mate. I can barely see you that small. But the point I'm making, if he's been here 3 years and never been able to sustain a first team place, we require, you know, how many trophies have we won in the last 3 years? We need better players. It is that simple. And I understand the reason for the debate, because it's Cammy Devlin that's coming in. It's going to be a direct replacement. However, I'm just looking at this in a business sense from the Rangers board, the Rangers recruitment team, if you like. Well, they're going to look at it and say we can get Cammy Devlin for nothing, effectively a signing on fee and a wage, and we can sell Conor Barron for £6, £7, £8 million when they know Conor Barron isn't going to feature. It is that simple. So it's a no-brainer in a business sense. Absolute no-brainer. Football-wise, it's a little bit different because we're all different. We all see different things in different players. So I understand the debate, but unfortunately, I feel for Conor Barron, he's not good enough, and Cammy Devlin's there to take his place, and is already guaranteed in front of him. We've seen that when he gets sent off. The only reason Conor Barron came on at all on Thursday night was because Cammy Devlin gets sent off, and Cammy Devlin came on as the second choice in that position. So, no, is the answer. I can understand it from a Rangers point of view that it's time for Conor Barron to go.
I think the Barron stuff is a lot to do with Cammy Devlin. I don't know. I just think Cammy Devlin's a squad player. I think he'll come on at times where we need to shore things up. I think he's very limited. I think that he's a, you know, he's somebody that will do a job, and I don't see that Barron has improved or anything. I don't think that, by the way, I don't think Devlin is a better player than Barron. But if you're getting that kind of money and things, Davie, I just think that the reaction to it has been interesting online, because a year ago, and you and I go to every single game, right? And you understand, a year ago, Kenny's the same. People didn't want Conor Barron in their team. They were telling us he was absolutely rubbish, and now they don't want him being sold for 6 to 8 million. It's the same with Lyle Cameron. He's going to go. Ross McCausland is going to go. Quintessentially probably most likely go. Nico Raskin will go. John Souttar will go at some point. Maybe not this year. Maybe in 4 years' time. John Souttar will eventually leave Rangers at some point. He's been talking to Leicester and Swansea for as long as, you know, the summer has lasted. So these players are going to go, Davie, and I'll be honest with you, there's nobody there that I'm kind of worried about leaving. Nico Raskin, we would love to stay, but Nico Raskin wants to move and will want to move to progress his career. I understand all that, get the big money and everything else, but, you know, I'm not in a state of, you know, anxiousness about anyone that's going to leave. And I'm sorry, Conor Barron is included in that, and not because Conor's a bad player, but because we also need to, as a squad, evolve it a wee bit and change it up and things as well. People going about, you know, fresh faces and stuff like that. Nico Raskin does need to move on. Conor Barron does need to move on. Mohamed Diamandi needed to go and he's gone. Bayrami needed to go. Ross McCausland has to go. Clinton Inciala has to go. John Souttar has to go. All these guys, I don't see many in there, Davie, that shouldn't be allowed to leave the football club.
I think I'll just go back to a basic fact, was that Rangers finished third last season and they haven't won anything for the last 2 years. I haven't been close to winning anything for the last 2 years. The squad we had wasn't good enough. So let's just remember that right from the start. In my humble opinion, I actually don't think Barron was as good as Diamandi. I thought Diamandi was a better player than Barron. And if I had the choice of one of them in my midfield, I would have taken Diamandi over Barron. I think a lot of the comments round about Conor Barron just now are actually because they think Cammy Devlin's replacing him, as opposed to how good they think Conor Barron actually is. Rangers went to Tynecastle a couple of times last season and lost the battle in the middle of the park. If Conor Barron had been in that Hearts midfield instead of Cammy Devlin, I don't know if we'd have lost it. So I think there'll be a place for a player like Cammy Devlin this season, but as a squad player and only for specific occasions, rather than as a first team starter. And as for if you can get £6 million for Barron, that is what the player trading model is, isn't it? You get him for nothing, you get £6 million and you try and get somebody better than him to replace him. So no, I think it's time for him to go. Just like it was time for Diamandi to go. Just like it's time for Raskin to go. But there is still a gap in the middle of the park when they all do go as to who's going to be the man we build the midfield round. Because I still don't think there's a player in there that, and I hate using them as a comparison, but see the likes of McGregor at Parkhead, that their midfield gets built around this one guy, the conductor in the middle of the park. And I think that's the guy that we haven't found yet. Now, I think a lot of us have been hoping all summer that Lewis Ferguson was going to be that man. I've got absolutely no idea if he's going to be or he's not going to be. But it wouldn't be Conor Barron because he's not of the standard that's required to be a guy you build a Rangers midfield round. I wish him well when he goes, but I don't think that we need to lose too much sleep over Conor Barron leaving Rangers. I'm more interested to see once Cameron goes and Barron goes and Raskin probably goes. I'm more interested to see who comes in, because I do think that we still need that general in there, and that's the one that I think could turn things around in terms of the way our midfield operates.
Yeah, we certainly need a wee bit more quality in these places. But I'll tell you what, I'm very excited about Vanja Dragicevic. We talked a lot about Dal, and I said, to much criticism, that Vanja was the one that Rangers really wanted. And what happens if he could add 10 goals in midfield, that he was the one that took shots. And I was saying it, by the way, out of sheer will. And he's came in and he actually has taken some good shots. I'm excited. I think Dragicevic looks like a player. I think Penrice looks like a player. I've seen Costa enough for my silly, stupid, rash judgments to say I think he's going to be good, because he ran fast once. That was me instantly sold. So him and Penrice at full-backs, Dragicevic in midfield, players to build things round. Yeah, I think McCanya's been great. I think Pandor's pretty solid. There is good players in that squad. Can you get it right further up the pitch? I think Yokota's good. He needs somebody else because he's a bit short on fitness. He gets to about 60 and seems to die a death. Kasama on the left has actually been playing well. Again, he's another one that needs somebody in there with him. Finlay Curtis needs to kind of hit his stride a wee bit. And we need somebody else in. And that brings us to Kim Min-soo. Rangers trying to get this over the line, Kenny. It's he's rumoured to be here, having his medical. The smart money seems to be Wednesday for an announcement on this. Rangers have triggered $8.5 million release clause. He's 20, comes from Girona. This is going to, it's a lot of money for a boy that's not got a lot to back it up. It's one of these ones, like, recruitment are hated anyway, so they're probably sitting going, hey, listen, it's a smashing gamble to take. This boy might be brilliant. And if he's rubbish, we're getting kicked out anyway. So, listen, Kenny, it's a lot of money, isn't it? For a boy we don't know a lot about. And even to be fair to him, Girona haven't played him that much. He was on loan last season, wasn't he? And I can sit here and usually give you stats and all that, but we don't know a lot about Kim Min-soo at all. Other than this is a massive amount of money.
Yeah, it's surprising me this. I don't really understand that. How would I put this without being too disrespectful? If we're going to spend £8.5 million, which this is, I'm surprised we're buying yet another 20-year-old. Put it that way. I'm desperate for us to get not just experience, that somebody that has been there and seen it and done it to a certain degree for that kind of money. I don't know much about the kid at all. I've done the usual. I've watched the reels, and yeah, there's clearly a talent. He's fast, and he's got something about him on the YouTube reels. However, I'm not going to. It's something I'm getting fed up saying all summer. And last summer, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know anything about the boy, because I don't. And I'm very, very surprised that we've went out our way to go and spend £8.5 million on a winger that has not played at any particular level at all. Now, he's obviously highly quoted. You don't put a clause like that unless you know that the boy can play. I mean, that's what I'm surmising here, that if you've got a €10 million release clause, then they must expect big things from you, because, as I say, he's 20 and he doesn't have a huge amount of experience, but he's clearly a talented boy. So I'm going to haver no more here. I don't know much about him, Stevie. I'm very, very surprised when you consider that, you know, Dragicevic has got, what is it, the best part of 100 games, I think it is, 112 games or something, I can't remember, under his belt. He's the same age, and he's costing a good couple of £1 million less. He's already an international, so it seems a little bit askew to me, but we'll wait and see, because I won't judge the player until I've seen him in a Rangers jersey for about 10 minutes, and that'll be me.
Davie, you'll be an expert on this boy. What is he like?
Oh, of course I am. Actually, I have looked up the stats, because I didn't know anything about him. So, do you want some stats? So, he's only ever played 20 minutes in La Liga, in the top league. 3 substitute appearances with a total of 20 minutes. He has got 11 minutes at Champions League level. He came on against PSV Eindhoven for Girona in Champions League in 2024 in the last 10 minutes of that game, when they were 4-0 down. But the majority of his appearances have been in La Liga 2. As you said, for this Andorra, he went on loan there last year. 27 starts, 13 substitute appearances. He only actually completed 90 minutes 12 times last season. 6 goals in those 40 appearances, 4 assists in those 40 appearances, 6 bookings. So as many bookings as goals. This season, he's started both games for Girona in La Liga 2, because they get relegated, and he hasn't had a goal or assist in either of them, but he's been booked in both. What I will say is that doesn't overly excite me. But another thing probably I should say is that release clauses are really common in Spain. And what Spanish teams tend to do is they kind of estimate how much a player's worth and double it, and make double it the release clause. So if they buy a player for €20 million, for example, they'll stick a £40 million release clause in his contract when they buy him. So that and that it's a way of basically saying that they're not for sale unless you do something stupid, unless you give us stupid money for them. So €10 million actually isn't a huge release clause in Spain. It's not huge. So it reminds me of Chermiti. It reminds me of when we signed Chermiti, and that it's one of these. I bet it's based in stats. It's based in potential for the future, and I hope to God it works, because if it doesn't, the recruitment team are in enough trouble without me gambling all this money on them.
Nobody likes him anyway, so it's fine, Davie. I'm laughing at Kenny because he's just listen. Do you know what I took from all that, Davie? How long did you say he played in the Champions League?
11 minutes.
Right. He's clearly an experienced professional Champions League player. What he's all moaning about? You know what I mean? You want Rangers to get exciting talent. There he is. 11 whole minutes in Champions League. That's 11 more minutes than all of us put together. Kenny, what's so amusing up there in the corner?
Davie's very droll way with words. That's all I'm going to say. They're not for sale unless you do something very stupid. Oh dear.
It's a gamble. I think this is a gamble.
Well, I agree with you,
I'm
Davie.
really surprised that at this stage in the transfer window, with the squad that we have, that we've got the money to gamble the way we're doing. I just hope that there's other money available for something that's a wee bit more certain.
Yeah. It's certain we're all going to give him 10 minutes before we judge him. That's the only thing that's certain. Kenny, interesting question I would like to ask you. I'd like to put you on the spot. I'm going to ask Davie the same question. We heard a lot from the recruitment team about buying from Scotland and if Scottish players are better and yada, yada, yada. And, you know, we'll be buying experience and blah, 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 blah. I don't really see it this summer. Don't really see it at all. I just see us doing the exact same thing as we done last summer with a couple of experienced players in there, which was the same as last summer. Have we done this big change that they promised us? Have we?
No.
Genuine question.
No, we have not. As I say, I mentioned it 10 minutes ago or so there before Davie had me in stitches. That we're signing 20-year-olds left, right, centre at the moment. I don't know what the average age of the signings, and how many have we signed now? Is it 11 at this moment in time, I think, isn't it? The average age of the signings, you know, if you take Shankland out of it, must be about 21 or 22, I would imagine, because bar Devlin and Pander, who are a little bit older, I can't think of many that we've signed that are old in any way, shape or form. They're all kids. And without being too disrespectful to anybody up there in the recruitment team, have they learnt nothing from last year? I've already said this, that if we genuinely don't get, and I don't think it's going to happen, and we've got a week left, and I genuinely felt we need 4 or 5 key positions filled with bags of experience. Now, they don't need to be 30, 31 or whatever, but you needed someone like Lewis Ferguson would be the prime example of somebody that you'd be crying out for, where you would look at it and say, what age is Lewis Ferguson now? 27, I think, where you're sitting saying, yeah, but he's got about 450 games under his belt because he's been playing with Hamilton since he was 16, 17 years of age. So he's been playing for 10 years. He's got all the experience you needed. And yeah, I know I'm talking about Lewis Ferguson. It might have been out of our reach, who knows? But the point I'm making is it's guys like that that we're desperately, desperately missing. Václav Černý was another one where if you look at the money we're paying for this guy, okay, if it works for Rangers at the £8.5 million we're playing, you'll get some money back. But if it doesn't work, my goodness, what a risk that is. Whereas at least with Václav Černý, who is playing in the same position, you kind of know what you're going to get. And I know this isn't an option. I'm just saying that it's guys like this that off the top of my head I can think of that have got that experience, that 300, 400, 500 games under their belt. We are missing that big time. We are. There's just no getting around it. And that's my concern over the next week. Because, as you say, we're looking at wingers at 20 years of age from Korea and with very, very little experience at all, and literally minutes of experience at the top level. So, no, in a word, we have done exactly the same as we did last season, in my opinion. And that's certainly the way it looks.
Davie, I'll put that question to you, and I'll also put another question to you, Davie. I am very grateful we're spending money. I'm very grateful that we're trying to bring in exciting players, but I can't help but feel that Kim Min-soo is a massive gamble that we probably don't need to take, and I'm a slightly bit concerned about it now. Completely open-minded, I want to see what he's going to be like, but Jesus, it just feels like a hell of a gamble for us, and we still need a 9. We still need somebody else in midfield. They said they don't want a centre half, which okay is fine. I think I'm a bit uneasy about this because I understand the Tierney thing, right? I told people on this podcast that Tierney was out of Rangers' reach, and I didn't think we would get him. And he's on millions of pounds a year and everything else. So I just kind of discounted the Tierney one, but it comes back to him, it comes back to Seema. None of these guys are coming to play Conference League football either. So I think we need to adjust that slightly, and I think maybe I do as well in the terms of this lad. We maybe have to buy somebody that's young and exciting, and listen, he might come in and look like Loudrop Mark 2 and we're all wetting our pants with excitement and everybody's wonderful, and Dan Purdy will be reincarnated as a messiah, but seems a hell of a gamble to me, Davie. And it does, when I look at it overall, it does go against, in my opinion, what we were sold this summer was going to be happen. When really, to me, I just think we've just done the exact same as last year.
I think that on paper, maybe there's been 2 or 3 signings that did come in on the basis of what we thought we needed. So Shankland, I would maybe Dan Neil and Godfrey as guys who are a bit of experience in England's top flight, who've got quite a lot of games under their belt, played at a decent level. You could argue Devlin, what's his Scottish Premier League experience. But I do think that, or Penrice as well, you could argue Penrice is actually the kind of signing we said we would want to see. But it's the game changing ones. It's the ones that turn draws into wins. The ones that find ways of winning. That I don't think we've done the right thing on yet. The Korean, he might turn out to be brilliant. I mean, I went through the stats there and gave Kenny a laugh because I was kind of suggesting that he's hardly played any minutes at any kind of level whatsoever, and even at second division level in Spain, his stats aren't particularly great. So, if he's being bought on the basis of stats, it must be different stats for the ones I've got, because the ones I've got, you wouldn't pay 10 million euros for it. So there must be other ones to do with maybe his ball carrying or his possession or work off the ball. So I don't know what it is that they've done. But I do fear, like you do, that there's still this theory in our recruitment department that numbers and stats and potential sit near the top of what we're looking for, whereas what should sit at the top of what we're looking for is quality game changers and players who can handle the shot that they're going to wear. And the proof's in the pudding. It's early days, but at this precise moment in time, with another week and a half to go before the transfer window closes, the gaps that are there are still gaps that we had at the start of the transfer window in terms of those things. And if we don't fill those gaps, I think that the manager and the players are not going to get patience for their potential to shine. They're going to have to hit the ground running, and I fear a little bit in terms of whether they'll melt if the heat goes on them.
It's interesting that we've signed 11 players and I still desperately think we need another 4 or 5. That's a really difficult situation for me to go in. And I'll say it honestly again. Pandur in goals, Penrice at left back. I think Costa will be good at right back. Then you've got Macania, partnered by Godfrey or Fernandez. Okay, Macania looks like a good player. 3 out of those 4, I think, are pretty decent. On the right, Yokota, I think is going to be a good player, but needs help. Midfield, Dragicevic, I think is going to be a star. Who comes in with him, especially when Raskin goes? On the left, Kim Min-soo is going to come in. That's a lot of money, okay? And we desperately need a front man now, I think, because Chermiti's injured. Majovsky, by all accounts, looks like he's is all out of it. So that leaves us with Nadiri and Shankland. I think Lawrence Shankland will be a good player for Rangers, but we need to find a way to make him profitable for us. So there's 6 or 7 in there. But to bring in 11 and still need more is quite ridiculous. It maybe speaks for more of where we are and understand it needs patience and everything else. Kenny, it's an interesting debate. We could go on and on. There'll be a lot of pressure on Kim Min-soo. We still need a 9. I still think we need somebody else in midfield. We could probably get away with it at centre back. Godfrey and McCann might turn out to be excellent pairings. Godfrey might not ever be fit. Fernandez needs to play if they're going to sell him, etc., etc. Oh, there's a lot of question marks over this Rangers team still, which with, a week or so in the transfer window, we all really hoped weren't happening. And that's not being down, because Kim Min-soo, we'll give him all the support and all the time he needs, absolutely, and we're not talking him down. But it would be wrong to sit here and say that this is going to be amazing, I'm so excited, and I've got to be honest, I think it would be disingenuous to say these things and to not say I think this is a bit of a gamble for Rangers at that type of money. And I understand that Chermiti was the exact same, and you've got to let the people that do the job. But I think, Kenny, to be in this position with a week or so to go where we still need so many key players to come in and hit the ground running, and I think that's a really poor position to be in.
Well, I'm going to take you two boys back a few months. And I think I think it was the three of us that were on the show. Stevie, you were definitely on, but I'm pretty certain Davie was on as well on a Monday night. And I actually said, and Stevie, you ended up agreeing with me, and you agreed with me thereafter as well. I can remember saying, regardless to whether we win the league last season or not, I felt that Rangers were in the best position out of the three to go into this season, because we had a core that was just needing a few additions. That's what I genuinely felt. Now, don't get me wrong, we were playing well at the time, but we had the likes of Fernandez there. We had Chermiti. We were looking at a situation where we were looking at somebody in the midfield. We were looking at a few wingers, and that was us, really. If you look at it, we were happy with Romans. We were happy with Nadiri at the time. And what I feel that our recruitment has done, and that the club has done, is Danny Rowell's left, new manager in, yet another change of direction, and another change of style that we are having to go through, and the players are having to go through. We have decided that 7 or 8 of our squad players are surplus to requirements, quite rightly so, but they're all still here. That's the kind of issue. The only guys that have left are the guys that were the loanees from last season, and James Tavernier, Mo Diamandi eventually away as well. But we are in a situation where what we've done is almost added to our problems by bringing more players in the same positions and making it more difficult for whatever reason to get the actual. Now, we knew, this is what I'm trying to say, we knew that we were going to need 2 or 3 centre halves. That's what we knew. We knew we needed a left back. We knew we were going to need a right back. Now we've got 2 right backs. We've got 2 left backs. We've got 3 right backs. And the centre half situation has not been sorted properly for me at all. Midfield, we still don't know if Nico Raskin and Conor Barron and whoever else is going to be there, or if they're going to go, but we've added a few in. I just don't get it. I genuinely don't get what we're doing. And that might come across as a little bit of a ramble because it's off the top of my head, but I just look at it, guys, and I say, look, I felt we were in, and I'm talking about March time, I felt we were in a great position to kick on this season. And having watched the recruitment process all summer, I'm not 100% convinced with that at all anymore. And I'm genuinely bamboozled with the club at times. I really am. When it comes to a signing policy, I just don't understand it.
It's an interesting comment here from James. It said too many plates spinning. Sometimes I feel like that's what it is, Davie, where there's too many. If that happens, if he's going to be good, that might be good, and this might be good, and if he comes in and if they do that, Jesus, man. Why can't it just be, here, see in the summer we need a left winger, can we go and get one and then we'll look okay? Every Rangers fan goes, oh, well, we need to sign 202 players in this summer just to be okay. Why is it so difficult? It feels like we're heading in the direction. Like we've got 6 or 7 players. It might be decent. It might be good. Can we knit others around them? We'll need to wait and see. They are buying players. They are spending money. I don't want to be totally negative. They're doing these things, but we're going to have patience, I suppose, for all this to come together. Costa, Penrice might add that width and pace from the back line. Kim Min-soo might be tremendous. Yokota. It's a lot of ifs and buts, isn't it? That's what worries me a wee bit as well. And by the way, see, next Monday we could have blown away Jablonec and Aberdeen and be sitting here saying Kim Min-soo is fucking amazing, Davie. Look at him go. I pray.
That might happen. I don't suppose you can bring in many players we brought in. Is it 11, 12, 10? I can't remember how many. I've lost count. But I suppose the big question for me is how many of them have been brought in to make sure you've got enough players to last the season, and how many of them do you think are players that you want to see playing week in, week out? And of the players that have been brought in so far, at least half of them I see as squad filler type players. Whereas if you would never want to put me in charge of recruitment, because I'd be even worse than Graham Souness in terms of ignoring stats. But if you had put me in charge of recruitment at the start, my priorities would have been to bring in 3 players to build the rest of the team around. So your number 6, your centre forward and your centre half, I would have brought in 3 that would have been first choice, undeniable first choice, and players that bring the overall quality of the team up. And it just feels to me a little bit like last summer and this summer, we just fling lots of stuff at the wall in terms of bringing as many as you possibly can, and just hope that in amongst it all you can figure out the best way of fitting all the jigsaw pieces together. I don't think Derek McInnes at this precise moment in time really has much of a real idea as to what his best 11 or his best formation even is. And I think until we've got the transfer window out the way and until we've got the squad that he's going to work with, I think he's going to be in that position until he knows exactly what he's got. Who knows how many he's going to leave? Never mind how many he's going to come in. Because what did I say? There was 9 days or something left in the transfer window. It wouldn't surprise me if 7, 8, 9 players leave between now and next Thursday. And if that happens, then we'll be scrambling about, no doubt, to try and bring 2 or 3 replacements in at the last minute. So, I think it's next Thursday the transfer window shuts, a week on Thursday. Maybe we should have a pod straight after that, just to look at what the overall squad looks like, because between now and then, who knows what changes are going to happen.
Well, Davie, if you want to come on and pod at 1 a.m, big man, you fire on. But I'll be long gone
Is it not 5 o'clock?
Sleeping.
Is it not 5 o'clock?
It's what we like, man. We're all like Jack and Victor, all of us, man. Listen,
It is 5 o'clock.
Is it 5 o'clock? Well, Davie, you can come on at 6 then. Right, listen, I'm going to end it. Kim Min-soo is going to be Brian Laudrup reincarnated. Costa is going to be the new Tav at right back. Penrice will be Davie Robertson. Listen, Dragicevic is going to be the best midfielder we've had in a long time, because he's the only one in there anyway. And it's all going to be wonderful. So on that note, what a splendid way to end the pod. Kenny and I will be back on Wednesday. Davie will be back tomorrow with his history pod. Kenny, thank you, my man. It's been some laugh.
Thoroughly enjoyable show. My backside is getting very numb. These pods are getting longer by the week, Stephen.
It's because Rangers are such a... There's so much to discuss. Listen, just win a couple of games. We'll come on next week and just say, Davie, what a week we've had. A couple of routine victories for the Teddy Bears. Kim Min-soo, we've got a new striker coming, new midfielder. It'll all be fine. We'll crack open the juice and we'll do a half an hour show and everything will be wonderful. That's the plan, Davie.
I like your plan. Yeah, I suppose it's the time of the year in the transfer window, starting a new season. It's always going to be a longer pod, isn't it? But I've enjoyed it. It's good to be on. Good to, and I can't help but feel that me and Kenny at the top here are a bit like Statler and Waldorf for the Muppets sitting in the little balcony at the top having a good old moan.
Not at all. I honestly just try and be honest, and I honestly just try and be honest. Is that saying? I don't know, but I just try and be honest on this show, and I think it'd be wrong to say that I'm delighted with everything that's happened. I'm not, but I get it. I understand it. I do think there's 6 or 7 players in there that look better than last year. Can we knit it all together? I'm pleased Eric McInnes is here. I don't want him to go despite what anybody is saying. I think that would be incredibly hard and stupid. Where do we go if Derek McInnes doesn't work? I mean, we've tried everything else. So, yeah, it's been a tough start. I think we just need to stick in with it a wee bit more and see where it goes, and fingers crossed. And I'm putting a lot of faith in Penrice and Costa and Dragicevic because I think they do excite me. No, I'm not buying Kenny a new chair. If Kenny's got a sore arse, he can sort it himself. Buy some cream. Huge thanks to our sponsors, CBD Oil Scotland. You can get 50% off by saying 4 lads when you make an order on their website. Candid, Amrit will give you 10% off if you go in and tell them 4 lads send them honestly. LBJ Consultants, Elite Scooter Scotland, Metaclad, 4 lads official roofing partner. They've got a competition coming up. I advised them to leave it a couple of weeks because everybody was so raging because we hadn't won and stuff like that. So I said to the guys, I said, don't launch it yet. Like, give it a couple of weeks and hopefully we'll win in Europe and stuff. So hopefully that'll come soon. The Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon. You can get 10% off by saying 4 lads when you book there as well. Denhay, the quintessential British bacon. We're going to be starting to do some mix-ups with them soon as well. Got a couple of cracking guests on. You'll not believe it. Ex-Arsenal players, ex-Southampton players, all sorts coming on to talk about Rangers and their careers and stuff like that. Should be good fun. And we're also our returning sponsors, Athol Industrial Solutions. So a massive thanks to all them. Yeah, I might buy him a cushion. I seen one. I was in actually Matalan the other week and the cushions were a £5, Kenny. So I might buy you a £5 cushion. There you go. Don't say I'm not.
I don't need a cushion, mate. I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 9 in this. No, 11 in this living room alone.
So sit
for
on
the
one
cushions, it's the problem. It's the time of the pods.
Well, listen. There you go. Right. Everybody have a good night. Chelsea are currently leading Fulham by 1-0. João Pedro in the first minute for Xabi Alonso's new Chelsea looking side. So yeah, if you're wanting football, go and watch that. As for us, back tomorrow with a history show at 7 o'clock. Davie and Stephen on talking about Rangers yesteryears. Kenny and I will be back on Wednesday night. I think William's on with us as well. Thursday, we'll be back after the game as well to do post-match. Friday live, Saturday nothing. Sunday post-match Aberdeen, and then live on the Sunday show at night. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you everybody in the comments. Thank you everybody for watching. Take care. Sorry it was so long. Just felt like there was so much to kind of talk about. Don't want to be negative, just honest. So we hope you enjoy it. And yeah, take care for now. And we'll speak to you all again soon. The 4 Lads Rangers podcast is sponsored by Athol Industrial Solutions, Candid, LBJ Consultants, CBD Oil Scotland, Elite Scooter Scotland, and Metaclad, 4 Lads exclusive roofing partner. The Aesthetics Lounge by Sharon, Denhay, the quintessential British bacon. Thank you to our sponsors and also to our partners, Black Rooster, Art of Gold, and Rangers Youth Development Company. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.